Hey everybody, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So, today what I want to do is I want to plant my grapevine. So I'm standing here in the backyard on my raised bed, and I'm going to turn it around so you can see it in a moment. But over here I have one grapevine. Let me turn it now so you can see. So over here I have my first grapevine, and it's already starting to leaf out really nicely. It's got some nice foliage. I'm not seeing, well, it's a little bit early to see fruit, but, oh wait, no, look at that. It's got something that looks a lot like fruit. So it's leafing out really well. This is a weed coming from my neighbor's garden, so we're just gonna pull it. There we go. So it's leafing out really well. And I have it here on a trellis, spread out on a trellis, and it actually goes behind the rows to a new trellis. So what I want to do, this grapevine is maybe 2-3 years old. So what I want to do is I want to put a new grapevine up. I've got you propped up here. You know, it's just me and my phone until I can get a tripod. So I've got you propped up on whatever I can use in the garden to lift my phone up a little bit higher so I can talk to you. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to plant another grapevine. So this one will have a sister. So this isn't the exact same kind of grapevine, but at least this one will have a friend. So this one is a Himrod seedless grape, and it wants full sown. You can harvest early in the season, garden fresh produce, healthy and delicious. So, and it's non-GMO, for whatever that's worth. Anyway, so this one is going to grow height. It says height as pruned, so you can prune it to the desired height that you want it to be. Depth, it's going to be 1 to 3 inches depth. Well, it gives instructions for how deep to plant it, how deep to dig the hole. It's hardy in zones 5 to 9, so we're a zone 7B, so it's hardy for us. And spacing is 36 to 60 inches. It's going to be spaced out. So here's where I want to put it. So let's look over here. I've got it here soaking, and I was going to use the rose tone, but I remembered I have garden tone in the shed, so I'm going to use that one. So I want to put it over here. So I have given this speedwell ample time to show growth, and the only thing I'm seeing right now is weeds. None of this that's growing here is speedwell. So I'm not sure what's the matter with it. There's no, okay, see, I just pulled this out of the ground. Yeah, see, there's nothing growing here except weeds. So we're pulling this up, and we're putting a grapevine here on this side. So when I put it on this side, I'll be able to get another trellis. I have another trellis right across the way on the other side of the backyard, so I can get another trellis larger than this one and put it in the back here, and then I'll have 2 grapevines growing together eventually. Now this one is a baby right now, so I'm not expecting it to grow that much. It'll grow, but you know, I'm not expecting miracles. We're going to give it time and give it give it some fertilizer, some compost, and this bed is already amended with fresh soil to top it off, so I don't have to do that much to it. So we're going to give it fresh compost, we're going to give it a little fertilizer, and we're just going to give it time to grow. All right, and I might end up, maybe not today, but I might end up moving this rose right here up a little bit, just to give it some space. But for now, I'm going to plant it over here. Maybe not exactly where the speedwell is, but I'll choose this spot over here to plant it, to give it space to come and leaf out, and eventually it's going to grow with a trellis behind it. It's going to grow and meet this one. That's the plan for eventually. All right, so let's see if we can make that happen. I'm going to prop you up, and then we're going to get to work. All right, let's do it. Okay, so we are going to start by digging our hole. So our hole is going to go somewhere over here, not right next to the other trellis. Well, not the same place where the other trellis is, not exactly the same place the speedwell is, but right over here next to it. So before I start digging, let's pull up the speed well, or what's left of the speed well, so it doesn't get in the way. And maybe we'll try speed well again this year, maybe we'll try it again next year. I have to figure out why it didn't come back, because it's supposed to be perennial. The tag says perennial, but there's no sign of life in it. And I just pulled out a whole bunch of branches that were literally doing nothing. So, I mean, I'm trying to remember the speedwell last year, and if I even liked it enough to try again. Like, this is what's left of the branch of the roots, the root ball. It's pretty much just dust at this point. So, for whatever reason, maybe it didn't like it here. Maybe it got too much water. That could be it. Yeah, I'm looking at this root ball and there's no life in here. There's no green. There's no activity here. So maybe it got too much water. That could be it. So we're just gonna pull this out. We will put this on the side until we can get it in the compost bin. And then we're gonna dig a hole. So this wants us to dig a hole 8 to 10 inches deep. I'm terrible with math, so I'm just gonna dig until, I feel like it's enough. Because we want to dig a hole that's gonna be enough, give enough room for the roots to spread. Because her roots look like this. See if I can get her close for you. Her roots look like this. So we want the roots to be able to have enough room to spread out. So we're going to dig a hole deep enough for that. Okay, so let's start digging. I really should have pulled the mulch away first. I've already got weeds in here, and I just mulched this maybe 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I think. 3 weeks ago is a fair assessment. So we're going to pull this out. I'm not sure what this root is for. But I'm not going to mess with it. I did say I was going to move it over. Alright, so let me move this over a little bit. I'm going to end up having to put some fresh mulch over this bed because I always mess up the beds when I plant. Like, you're supposed to pull the mulch out first and then start planting. Push the mulch away and then start planting so it's nice and neat. But again, no one has ever accused me of being a neat gardener. So, I'm going to have to redo the mulch on this bed. So, maybe I'll do it today if we've got time. I'm sure we've got time. It's a beautiful day. What did I do with my hori-hori knife? Did I bury? Yep, I buried my hori-hori knife. Here it is. I love this nice knife. This is a hori-hori knife for those of you who are not familiar with it. So it's a knife, but you can also use it for digging. I use it for digging all the time unless I'm doing a big project and I have to dig a really deep hole. But it's got numbers. I don't know if you can see, but it's got numbers on the inside so you can actually see the depth. There's a flat side like a regular knife, and then there's a serrated side. So you can actually use this to divide some perennials and things like this, to cut things. It's really good, and it's got a nice grip handle, so it gives you a good grip so it doesn't slip. So I'm gonna dig, and I got this one. I think I got this one at the Philadelphia Flower Show too, for like $10. It was a good deal. So I don't have as much room to dig here because there's plants all around, but I'm making my way. Now, when you're digging in your garden, if you're going to be digging in your garden and you come across worms, if you only come across a couple, I don't think you have to worry. I've never dug in the garden and come across more than 2 or 3 worms, and they're really not bad. They're usually not a detriment to your garden. They usually aerate the soil, which is good for the roots of your plants. Now, if you come across a whole bunch of them, or if you come across grubs, those are the ones you want to worry about, because those are the ones that eat your roots. All right. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if I have I think I have a deep enough hole. Let's see if this is deep enough. I think so. So I'm going to bring you over so you can see what the hole looks like. Very carefully. I'll bring you over. So this is a hole. I believe it's deep enough. So I'm going to use this hole and I'm going to stick this in this hole, prop it up nicely. Before I put it in the hole, I'll put our amendments and then I'll backfill it and we'll be done with that. And then we'll place the trellis. So, put it low so you can see what we're doing. Alright, so let me put my gloves back on because I'm going to be working with Garden Tone from Espoma. So Garden Tone I would use specifically on fruits and vegetables when I'm planting. And I don't use a whole heck of a lot because I don't think it's necessary to use a whole heck of a lot. Let's put you back in the hole for now while I'm doing the amendments. So I'm just going to use a little. I'll show you how much. This is all I'm going to use for this hole. And in fact, I didn't even use that much. I kept some and put it back in the bag. And then I'm going to add a little compost. And then I'm just going to mix it in a little bit. I'm sure it's not necessary, but I kind of like mixing it in so the fertilizers and things don't directly touch the root ball of a plant. That's just my preference. That's not like science or anything. That's just something that I like to do. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I just realized this is my first planting video with you all. Wow, I'm kind of excited. I'm like a real gardener now. Okay, so now we can put our thing in. And once I get my tripod, which is coming, I'll be able to position the camera so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. You'll have an ample view. So we're going to position the root ball. Well, it's not really a root. The bare root is really a bare root. It's not a root ball. So that all the roots are covered. And so that the plant is straight. Down, pull the soil from the back. Press it down just a little bit. And I'll cover the hole where the speed ball used to be. And that should be that. I think we skipped a step. No, return soil loosely. Place plant in holes, spread roots, halfway. Fill halfway to the surface with good loose soil. Oh wait, no, we skipped a step. We were supposed to put some water in the soil first. We were supposed to pour approximately 1 gallon of water into the hole. When the water has settled, fill the hole with more good loose garden soil. So let's remove some of the soil, because following instructions is important in gardening. Sometimes we get excited, and sometimes we don't do things quite the way they're supposed to be, but we can correct it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use exactly a gallon, but I'll use the water that was in here. And I'm just going to pour the water in and wait for it to settle. And it's settling really quickly, so that this means that this area has good drainage, and good drainage is good for our plants. Most plants want good drainage. There are some plants that can deal with wet feet. There are some plants that like it boggy. I'm thinking, what are they? Rose of Sharon, and there's another one. hibiscus. I'm thinking hibiscus. They don't mind it a little bit boggy, but most plants want good, well-draining soil. So the water has settled for the most part, so let's pour a little bit more, and then that's it. I think that's 1 gallon. And then let's wait. There's something in my ear. We're supposed to wait, let the water settle. And then when water has settled, fill the hole with more good loose garden soil, which we have lots of here. And then we're going to water it in, and then we're going to water it once a week until growth appears. And then you water it as needed. Alright, so I'm going to move this over. And the water is settling. Let's see what it looks like. I'll show you what it looks like while we're waiting. Here we go. So the water is settling slowly. There was more than that. And it's going down. So we're just going to give it a chance to go down. Alright, so all the water has settled. So now we're just going to backfill until the roots are covered. It's still standing pretty straight, almost by itself, almost like it's standing on legs. So we'll backfill. Cover up the space where the speedwell was, and then we have some space to put something else where the speedwell was. Now it'll probably have to be something shade tolerant, which I'm thinking is probably going to be some more of the fairway mix, coleus, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see. All right. So, she's looking good. Let's take a look. So here she is. And she's already leafing out. She was leafing out in the bag, in the packing material that they put her in. But she's leafing out pretty well, pretty nicely. So now what I can do is I can get the trellis from over here. Let's go see if we can get that now. We can get the trellis. This area is kind of a mess, but let's see if I can pull the trellis with one hand without hurting myself. I don't know if one hand is going to work. Oh. Got it. Now, the trellis is a little bit broken on the top, but we're not going to worry about that now. We can still use it. I can always get some crazy glue and fix the top. So let's take it back over. Alright, so let's see if we can place the trellis. This soil is pretty soft. I don't want to remove that remaining black trellis. Should I remove the black trellis that's there? Yeah. Maybe I should remove that. If we're going to have the big white trellis, we don't need this one. So I'm going to untie these vines. I think I only have 2 ties. I use these garden ties that I get from Home Depot. And they tie really well. It would be nice if they had them in like dark colors, like a really dark green. Or a black, so they kind of blend in. But I'm happy for them. So I'm just gonna loosen this. And gosh, the rose was growing into it too. Alright, so I've got an extra trellis here. And I'm gonna see if I can add the white one. Now I've got to be careful with these. This white one, this trellis, these trellises are as old as dirt. I'm actually going to take them off later in the season, maybe early summer when I have some time. and I'm going to paint them white and see if I can hammer them a little bit better. But for now, let's see if I can get this in the ground. Oh Lord. Okay. For the other one, I had to climb up on here. So, if I fall, you're all witnesses. And if I fall, I will publish the video because, I mean, come on. That's comedy gold. Okay. All right, here we go. I need to pound this with something. I don't think I have anything to pound it with to get it in here really well. Oh, this side is going in. Okay, good. What about this side? This side is like on cement. I know why. It's got this on here. Let's see if I can get this off. There we go. Way to feel. Alright, let's try it again. Sometimes in the garden you just have to remember. You just have to remind yourself, I can do hard things. We can do hard things. Okay, let's see if we can pound this down. All right. This isn't working. Maybe it is working. It's going in. It's just not better. Okay, so let me come down and find a stone that I can pound it with. At my age, you gotta do this slowly. Right, found something. Alright, should I try climbing up there again? No, I don't think so. Let's do it this way. Alright, that is the best I can do for right now with this trellis. Yeah, this is going to be a very temporary situation until we can figure out something a little bit more permanent. But in the meantime, I'm going to take, oh gosh, don't pull on this too much, Trisha. I'm going to take this vine. I'm glad I'm doing this before I finished everything. Alright, I'm going to take this vine and I'm going to connect it because this was connected to the black trellis that I just pulled out. So I'll connect it here. And then there was another vine. Was there another vine? Or was it the same? I think it was the same vine. Okay, so it's connected to this one. So here we go. Alright, so this is what it looks like. So, yes, it's slanted. Yes, it's old. Yes, it's broken on top. Like I said, this is going to be a very temporary solution that I thought was going to work, but we're going to have to probably either do some work here or get new ones. We'll figure it out. The other one went in so easily. I mean, I did have to climb up, but it went in so easily and it's so sturdy. This one, the soil over here must be more compacted, so it's not quite as sturdy. So we'll do some work on that. But for this grapevine, I'm going to let it grow out a little bit more. And then by the end of the season, hopefully we're able to, it'll grow up a little bit higher and it'll vine a little bit more. So I think that's it for today's video. I think I want to find a place for this labularia, so I'm going to do that before I go in. But that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.